Hi, I'm Bella from New York. Before I tell you my story, please like and subscribe. My aunt said my parents had an accident when I was a baby. And since then, I've lived with her and my cousin Lucy. But you never guessed another kid lived in this house. All the wall frames had pictures of just Aunt and Lucy. Lucy had the biggest room, bursting with toys and books. Lucy had so many clothes she had another room as a closet. And me, well, I lived in the attic with her hand-me-downs. But I didn't care. All I ever really wanted was for Aunt to love me like she loved Lucy. So I did whatever Aunt asked me. I served her breakfast in bed, polished her shoes, painted her nails. But somehow she was just never happy. Once when I was 10, a new neighbor came to visit Aunt, and she looked awestruck when she saw me.
What a beautiful child. That gorgeous red hair and those adorable dimples.
Adorable? They're just dents in her face. Stop smiling, Bella. You look like a moron. Go get us tea.
I went to the kitchen, spat in Aunt's tea, and gave her the cup with a very serious face there. But soon after I turned 13, my whole life was transformed. One day at breakfast, Aunt was going through the mail when suddenly she spat out her cereal. Just then, I saw the letter she was reading. It had my name on it. Hey, what's that? But Aunt had already jumped off her chair and she threw the letter in the fireplace. Why'd you do that? It was mine. I saw my name.
And who would write to you? You didn't see anything.
As she stormed off, I couldn't help thinking, who would write to me? A few days later, the doorbell rang, and a postman was standing outside.
Express delivery for Ms. Bella.
Suddenly, a flying figure pushed me aside and attacked the postman. Oh my God, Aunt! I tried snatching the letter from her, but she was off with it like a bullet. What the freaking turtle? What was she hiding? I was dying to find out, but the letter stopped coming. But one evening when the bell rang, Aunt ran to open the door. And standing outside were two bodyguards with a wealthy-looking man.
Can you explain what happened to the letters and plane tickets I sent for my daughter?
Wait, what? Just then the man spotted me, and his eyes welled up.
Oh my God, you must be Bella. You look exactly like your mother. I'm your dad, sweetie.
Dad? You're my dad? Why didn't you come for me before? He tearfully explained that he and Mom had gotten divorced before I was born, and she told him never to get in touch. He found out just recently that Mom had an accident so long ago, and he tracked me down. As we hugged tight, I turned around to Aunt. You made me think he wasn't even alive. And why were you keeping the letters from me?
Because you don't deserve to go live like a princess. You should be my maid, after everything I've done for you.
Used to you? I did everything you ever asked just so you'd love me. Did you ever love me at all? Even a little?
No, how could I?
Dad told me to pack my things immediately, but before going, I made sure to rub Aunt's toothbrush inside the toilet. Then I took Dad's hand and left without even saying goodbye. We flew over to New York, and I was shocked at the size of Dad's mansion. My room was 5 times bigger than Lucy's. This was freaking awesome. As Dad was showing me around the house, I suddenly saw a tall woman staring at me coldly from a distance. Dad was married, so that must be my stepmom.
Mary, there you are. Come meet Bella.
But Mary just turned away and slammed the door behind her. Later that night, I walked past their bedroom to hear Dad and Mary talking in loud voices.
It's her first day here, Mary. Think how unwelcome she must have felt.
What about me? You just expect you'll bring a child home and I'll start loving her like she's my own.
I crept away without hearing any more. Great! Another mom figure who already hated me. When I went down for breakfast the next morning, Dad greeted me with a smile, and so did Mary.
Sorry, Bella. I wasn't feeling too well yesterday. I hope you slept well.
Yeah, as if she cared. When I asked Dad for the orange juice, Mary quickly got up to pour it for me, and she dropped the whole jug in my lap. Oh my God, what are you doing?
I'm so sorry, it just slipped from my hands.
I know you don't want me here, but you don't have to be so petty. With that, I stormed off. Her whole innocent act was fake, and she proved me right soon enough. A few days later, I was walking over to the sofa in the living room when suddenly I tripped over something. I went flying straight into this weird statue. I stared at the wreck in horror. Mary leapt up angrily from her armchair.
Oh my God! How could you be so clumsy? Do you know what that's worth?
Just then, Dad burst into the room, and behind him were some guests.
What happened? We heard a loud crash.
Oh, honey. Bella broke the statue by accident, but thankfully she's not hurt.
Dad looked really upset, but stayed silent. I couldn't stop myself, though. You were just shouting at me, but the minute Dad came in, you became an angel.
What? No, I was just shocked. I didn't mean to shout.
Stop acting, Mary. You just want me to look bad in front of Dad. I think you tripped me up with your leg.
What? You little brat. How dare you? You must have tripped on the carpet.
That's enough. In case you both forget we have guests, Bella, please go to your room.
I walked off angrily and slammed my door shut. I didn't trust her one bit. Dad got me enrolled in school soon, and I felt nervous walking into the huge building. A few kids were looking at me, and I smiled. And suddenly, a bunch of boys were surrounding me.
Oh my god, can you do that again?
Do what?
Smile, please. Smile again.
I did, and all the boys just stared at me. What was wrong with my smile?
Those dimples are so freaking cute. I could just look at them all day. Wow. These dents in my face, like boys like these.
Just then, a girl pushed through the crowd.
Get away from her, you morons. You're scaring her. Hi, I'm Nora, and I don't have a redhead in my group. You look nice and rich, so we're friends now, okay?
Well, she wasn't really giving me a choice. I was part of her popular girls gang now. I loved my new school. But it started bothering me really soon that Nora could be rather mean to other kids. I tried to tell her a few times, but she always said she was only joking. But then, one day, I walked into the cafeteria and I saw her and her friends making fun of a kid on crutches.
Hey, Limpy, what would happen if I took away one of your legs?
And with that, she pulled away a crutch, and he landed hard on the ground. Nora, are you crazy? He's already hurt. Why are you bothering him?
Oh, come on. We're just joking around.
But it's not funny. You're just being a jerk bully.
Hey, no one talks to me like that, Tomato Girl.
She pounced on me and pinned me against the wall. I pushed her back, and she went crashing straight into the chemistry teacher walking by. He dropped all the bottles he was holding, and the vile smell of chemicals had everyone gagging and running out of there. And Nora and I got suspended for a week. Dad would be so disappointed. When I went down that evening to tell him, he wasn't in his study. But I found freaking Nora poking her nose through his things. She just picked up a pen and put it in her pocket. What are you doing in my house?
Your house? You live here? Since when?
You're interrogating me, you thief. Put that pen back right now or else.
Or else? What does that even mean?
I leapt at her, trying to reach her pocket as she fought back and screamed. Suddenly, we were pulled apart by Mary and another woman.
This witch attacked me. She's the one who got me suspended too. Mom.
Bella, Nora is my guest. Her mom and I are friends. What's going on here?
I guess I just have better taste in friends than you. I brushed past her and stormed off. Of course, Mary was friends with awful people like herself. A few days later, Dad was away on a business trip, and someone quietly opened my door at midnight. To my surprise, it was Mary with a hand behind her back. What? What do you want?
Your dad told me it's your birthday, and I just came to say, well, happy birthday.
She stepped forward with a cake with candles on it. I never had a birthday cake before. I thanked her awkwardly, and she sat down on the bed.
Bella, I think we got off on the wrong foot, and I'd really like to start over. Maybe we can get to know each other better.
She looked really sincere, and I wondered if I'd judged her too quickly. Yeah, I think I'd like that, Mary. We started hanging out more, and I found myself actually liking her. She took me to lovely cafes, shows, and galleries around New York. She had the best taste in clothes, and shopping with her was so much fun. Soon after Dad returned, Mary threw me the most amazing birthday party ever. It was the best day of my life. A couple of months later, there was a dance in school, and I'd been asked out by this new boy who had all the girls drooling. That evening, I wore a gorgeous dress Mary had picked out for me. She'd even done my hair and makeup. I received so many compliments, and my date just couldn't keep his eyes off of me. We were slow dancing to a song when suddenly someone pulled the back of my dress really hard, and I heard the fabric rip. Oh my God. I turned around in horror to see Nora grinning and holding part of my dress. But everyone was staring at my back, at a long, ugly scar.
Look, Marcus. Look at that disgusting thing on her back. It's like she's freaking Frankenstein.
Suddenly, I leapt forward and slapped her hard. The only monster here, Nora, is you. I ran out in angry tears and got into my car. I didn't care if anyone knew about my stupid scar, but the only person who could have told Nora about it was Mary. She'd seen it when she was helping me try on a dress one day. I burst into the living room and started screaming. How could you be such a witch, Mary? You almost made me believe you cared about me.
What? What are you talking about? What happened to your dress?
Nora ripped my dress because you told her about this scar. Even Dad doesn't know. I only told you, and you thought it could be something you tell Nora to use against me. You're the most horrible person I know. You're even worse than my aunt. I hate you. As I cried furiously in my room, Dad came in and hugged me.
Sweetheart, there must be some mistake. Mary wouldn't do this.
She would. She did. No one else could. Don't defend her, Dad. So if Nora thought I was going to be embarrassed and hide, she was so wrong. I went back to school the next day, expecting weird looks and comments. But what happened left me shocked. The principal walked in during the first lesson and said,
The entire class came to me this morning to complain about an incident at the dance yesterday. And there is no way that I will tolerate this kind of behavior in my school. Nora, you're expelled.
As Nora stared at her in horror, the whole class erupted into cheers and applause. This totally made up for everything. When I got home that afternoon, I heard screams from the living room. It was Nora's mom.
No one had been spying on Bella. Your stupid maid saw her scar one day and told us. And so what? My daughter played a harmless little prank, and now she deserves to be exposed, expelled, her entire future destroyed. All because of that stupid, disfigured, red-haired witch.
Don't you dare talk like that about my daughter.
And with that, Mary punched her.
Get out of my house. You are not welcome here.
However, as the butlers let her out and she went screaming, Mary suddenly saw me and I started to cry. I'm so sorry, Mary, for thinking it was you. I've had a hard time believing you could really care for me. I heard you the first day you said you couldn't love me like your own, and I guess I've been scared to love you in case you didn't love me back.
Oh, darling, I said that? Yes, because I couldn't love you right away. It was all so new for me, too. I've never been anyone's mom, but I've tried so hard to get to know you and love you. And I really do now. Bella, I love you. You're my daughter as much as your dad's now.
I love you too. Snakey, I'm Melon. Melon.
Who are you talking to? Oh, hi guys. I'm Grace and this is Melon.
Snakey, stinky breath. Stinky breath.
Hey, that's offensive. Stink. Guys, I'll be right back. In the meantime, please like and subscribe. Hey y'all, I'm back. And this charming boy here is Melon. When I was 5, my grandmother got Melon as a pet. He has been my closest companion ever since. But I was 11 when we lost Grandma forever, so Melon is now my pet. We live with my mom, who raised me all alone. She is an incredible fashion designer and works extremely hard.
Nifty tie, Snakey.
But she never has time to go out and enjoy a social life.
Social life, Snakey, no nifty ties.
Don't be selfish. Melon. Just then, I heard a sound outside my window. It was Leo, the school bully, and his cronies picking on Conte. Conte and his parents had moved in about a week ago across the street from me. He was in 5th grade as well, but Conte was smaller than the other boys in our class. He wore glasses and had a lot of acne, which made him the perfect target for bullies.
You're like a science experiment gone wrong with those pimples, buddy.
I'm just getting ready for Halloween. Need to begin early with the spooky costumes, you know?
Suddenly, Leo and his gang pushed Conte and dragged him away. We have to do something.
Let's go, Snakey.
Melon and I stealthily trailed the boys to an abandoned house 2 blocks away. We peeked inside and saw Leo and his boys harassing Conte. Leo needed to be taught a lesson. Melon, time to put on our spooky act. I opened the window slightly, and Melon crawled through. He slid under a sheet and started flying around like a ghost.
Boo! Boo! I'm the ghost of Snake Past!
The boys' faces drained of color. It's haunted! Run! As the boys ran out screaming, I climbed in through the window and helped Conte up.
Thanks for helping me. You guys are awesome.
Let's go before real ghosts come. From that day, Conte, Milan, and I were inseparable. Conte basically became a member of my small family. We played video games, had all-night movie marathons, and he even taught me how to play basketball. Heck, when we were 14, we even opened an animal shelter.
Interesting people. Interesting people.
Are you saying I'm boring?
He's just saying you're as interesting as watching paint dry.
Life was wonderful the summer before high school. Mom, Melon, and I even went to Paris for Mom's first international fashion tour. It was incredible. I assisted Mom in dressing her models and even offered her a few design tips. Because we were super busy, I didn't have time to check in with Conte, but I bought him a few souvenirs to make up for it. After all, he was my best friend, and he'd understand, right? But then something weird happened. When we came back from Paris, Conte suddenly disappeared. He stopped talking to me and even stopped replying to my messages. I was super worried. So on the first day of high school, I ran over to his house, worried crazy. When the door opened, I almost passed out. Conte looked amazing and cool. No glasses, no acne. He looked like a teen model. But before I could even ask him what was up, he frowned.
I think I'll walk to school by myself today.
Then he closed the door and walked away. I was beyond shocked. Was he kidding? He had to be, right? Wrong, because at school things got even weirder. Conte avoided me like the plague. Every time he saw me, he dodged and ran away. Finally, I cornered him in the hallway. What's with the dodgeball moves? Did I do something?
Look, I gotta go.
Distracted, I bumped into Leo and his gang.
Aw, is little loser sad because Conte no longer wants to be seen with her?
Better a loser than a clown? What trick are you going to do today? How to use your mouth to talk instead of your butt. Leo's face turned red. He leaned towards me menacingly. Luckily, a teacher passed by and he and his gang rushed away. That evening, I was very bummed out. After school, I saw Conte hanging out with some guys who spent more time in detention than they did in their classrooms. Did he think he was too cool to hang out with me? Melon, you won't believe it. Conte's acting so weird and I just don't understand why.
Snaky, secret agent, Snaky, undercover.
Melon gave me a great idea. What if I followed Conte around to find out what was going on and why he started hanging out with those guys? I wanted my best friend back. As I was trying to understand Conte's odd behavior, there was an unexpected knock on the door and Mom waltzed in.
Hey kiddo, I've got some news. I've met someone and he's coming for dinner with his kid tonight. Is that okay?
Snaky, nifty ties, gone.
Melon. Shh! Of course, Mom, I'm so happy for you! With a chuckle, Mom hugged me.
Dress up a bit, okay? I want us to make a good impression.
To be honest, I was excited for Mom. That is until I opened the door for her guests and saw who they were.
Grace, what a pleasant surprise! I'm gonna make your life a nightmare.
I gulped. This was going to be a disaster. But to my shock, during dinner, Leo was super polite. I could hardly recognize him. He even poured juice for me. Was I wrong about him? Just then, Mom and Leo's dad went to the kitchen to grab the chocolate cake Mom had baked, and I sat with Leo awkwardly when suddenly I felt something crawl up my leg and onto my chest. I screeched louder than a pig in a mud bath and leaped from my chair as the rodent darted into the kitchen. Leo's dad emerged from the kitchen holding the toy mouse.
Grace, Claire, I'm so sorry about this.
Boys will be boys. No harm done.
And jerks will be jerks! As soon as Leo and his dad left, I rushed over to Conte's house to give him the bad news that my mom was dating Leo's dad. Hey, Conte, can we talk? But Conte didn't look happy to see me. Conte shook his head and looked away.
What? Grace?
OMG! What the heck is wrong with you? Why are you acting like such a jerk?
Then go away.
You know what? I will!
I spun on my heels and walked away. Silent tears rolled down my cheeks. I missed my best friend, and I needed him now more than ever. As days turned into weeks, my school life became a minefield of misery, courtesy of Leo's relentless pranks at school and at home, and Conte's silent treatment. Melon was my only friend, but even he was worried about me.
Tell Mom! Tell Mom!
What? Was I supposed to tell her? That her boyfriend's son's heart was as dark as a moonless night? But just when I thought my life was over, something amazing happened. I got an opportunity to win a scholarship to college. I was thrilled. If I could get it, I wouldn't have to worry about my fees. All I had to do was write an essay about the career path I wanted to choose and why I deserved the scholarship. I was so excited. I spent the next month working tirelessly on my essay. And when I finally finished, I was super proud of myself. On the day of the deadline, I rushed to the principal's office clutching my laptop with my cherished essay, when out of nowhere, a torrent of dirty mop water careened toward me. It was like everything was happening in slow-mo. My laptop fell on the floor and broke in two. Before I could get it, someone standing close by jumped on it, smashed. OMG, stop! Stop! I didn't save it on the cloud. This can't be happening, my essay. But it did happen. I sat in a pool of dirty, stinky water with bits of laptop around me. My precious essay gone forever. And then I heard it. The most terrible sound on the planet. Leo laughing. Suddenly, my vision blurred with anger, and before I knew it, I was on top of him, clawing at his hair like a wild animal. It took the combined strength of 3 teachers to wrestle me away.
You ruined my chances of getting that scholarship, Leo. I hate you.
I ran out with tears in my eyes. At home, I locked myself in my room and cried. That night, I got a call from Conte, but I refused to answer. Shortly after, he sent me a text saying that he saw what happened at school, and he was really sorry. He called repeatedly, and eventually I switched off my phone and cried myself to sleep. Over the next few days, I couldn't eat, and I spent most of my time in and out of sleep.
Darling, if something is troubling you, you can always talk to me, okay? I'm here for you.
Snaky, tell her.
With a deep breath, I opened up to Mom and told her everything about Leo's relentless bullying, the scholarship and the essay, and how Conte had distanced himself from me. I was devastated and miserable.
Oh, honey, why didn't you tell me earlier?
You were so happy with Leo's dad, and I didn't want to ruin it for you.
You will always be my #1 priority. And as for Conte, let's work on finding out what's wrong there too.
Later that evening, I decided to walk to the park to clear my head. I was sitting behind a tree when I heard familiar voices, and what I heard next made my blood run cold.
I refuse to be involved in this any longer.
Oh, don't you? What about the $50,000 that I gave you for your mother's hospital treatment?
I gasped, $50,000.
Remember our deal. I provide the money, and in return, you become my slave. You do as I tell you. And I'm telling you to stay the heck away from Grace. I hate her. Or your mom suffers.
Leo's words hit me like a sledgehammer. Conte was being blackmailed. He was trying to save his mother while also protecting me and Mom. That night, I decided to take things into my own hands and decided to visit Conte. Since I knew he wouldn't let me in through the front door, I decided to climb in through the window. But it was way tougher than they make it look in movies. As soon as I leaped onto the roof, a tile dislodged and slid down the roof, and I was clutching the gutter for dear life. My life flashed before my eyes. I heard the window open, followed by Conte's voice.
Grace, what are you doing?
Shut up and help!
I'm here to rescue you. Hang on, I'm on my way.
Within a few seconds, he took my hand and dragged me up, and Conte safely brought me back to the floor. I wrapped my arms around Conte, overflowing with gratitude, but he gently pushed me away.
You shouldn't be here.
Because Leo would hurt Mom and us, right? Conte's eyes widened in surprise. I overheard you guys at the park. Come on, let's go to your room before Leo catches us. Finally, Conte told me about his mother's illness and his father losing his job while we were away. I felt so guilty. I'm so sorry, Conte. I should have been there for you.
No, it's fine. But I don't have any money for Leo, and if I ever cross him, all the things I did for him will come back to haunt me.
A mischievous grin crept across my face as I rubbed my hands together. Leave it to Melon and me. The next evening, I told Mom to invite Leo and his dad over for dinner because we had settled things between us. When they arrived, I was still connecting the camera that I had secured in Melon's tie to my laptop when I finally emerged. I spied Leo's father slipping into my mother's office. I tiptoed to the office and peeked inside with Melon perched on my head, and what I heard sent shivers down my spine.
Yes, I'm bringing her designs tonight and my gambling debt will be squared off, right?
I was shocked. Mom had spent months making designs to pitch to Prada. This was a huge deal for her. Her entire career depended on it. Melon and I scurried back to my room. It wasn't the footage I hoped to get. It was 10 times better. I quickly sent a copy to Conte before heading to the dining room to greet our guests. Leo and I pretended to like each other and had a polite conversation. After the meal, I turned to everyone. I've decided to apply to a few colleges, and they wanted me to do a short video of myself. I'd love to get your opinions. As the tape played in the living room, Leo's father looked like he'd seen a ghost. Mom, on the other hand, was furious.
How dare you! Come into my house and try to steal my designs! I worked so hard! Get out!
But I wasn't going to let Leo and his father leave just like that. Not so fast. I won't share this on social media if Leo leaves Conte alone. I know about the 50,000 and all the things you've made Conte do.
You? What? Blackmailing our Conte pal? You have 3 days to pack your bags and move out of town or I'm calling the cops.
Leo and his father practically ran out crying.
Snaky, trash gone! Trash gone!
While I was happy that I got justice for Conte, I felt super bad that Leo's dad had broken Mom's heart. I'm so sorry, Mom. I know you liked him a lot.
Don't worry, kiddo, you just saved my business.
I rushed over to Conte to tell him the great news.
Thank you, Grace, for having my back even though I was a jerk to you.
That's okay. Relationships aren't always sunshine. They need a little rain to grow. Slowly, Conte's mother recovered, and my mom hired Conte's father as her personal assistant. After Conte and I finally graduated high school, we got into the same college, excited about whatever life had in store for us, confident that our enduring friendship would weather any storm that came our way. Hi, I'm Lily, and I'm your typical high school nerd, except I have a very big secret. Want to know more? Stick around, and yeah, like and subscribe to my channel. I lived with my parents and twin sister, Catherine. During my upbringing, I was an extremely quiet child and mostly stayed to myself. I read books and achieved perfect grades. However, Catherine was entirely different. She was the school's queen bee, exceptionally beautiful. And each week, she would date a new boy who would instantly fall for her.
You are so perfect, Catherine. I love you.
Aw, sweetie, you're not too bad yourself. I love your, smile.
I love your smile and your eyes and your perfect little hands. I love everything about you.
Can you guys go and be irritating somewhere else? I'm trying to do my homework and your sweet talk is making me queasy.
Are we making you jealous? Because honestly, the only guy you'd ever kiss is your stuffed panda.
At least he's permanent. Unlike the losers you date for 2 weeks, then dump and file restraining orders against because they end up stalking you. I wonder what will become of this new arm candy. A piece of advice, lover boy. Run before it's too late. Catherine threw a cushion at my head and left, and I couldn't help but giggle. But she wasn't entirely wrong. I was a bit envious of her. Even though I was smarter and more composed than Catherine, I was always known as the other twin or the nerdy one. No guy ever gave me the same kind of attention as Catherine. Well, no one except Sid. He was the spoiled son of a wealthy industrialist and was really popular for his silly pranks in school. The first time I saw him was on the first day of high school when he rollerbladed into me in the school hallway, and we both landed on our butts.
Wow! I've never seen anyone like you before.
Really?
Of course. I mean, how many people can be as stupid and blind as you are? You've got to be someone special.
Excuse me, but you crashed into me. You should be apologizing.
You're right. Where are my manners? I'm sorry for calling you blind. 'Cause you also have an incredibly twitchy face, and you sound like a pregnant horse when you talk. Now I know I'm very handsome, and you'd rather spend your day staring at me, but I'm late for class.
And Sid just pushed past me and left. I was hoping to never run into him again. But then I walked into the class, and the teacher introduced him as the new student. To make things worse, she appointed me as his student tutor to bring him up to date with the classes. Later, as I sat with Sid in the library, I saw him staring at me funny.
You must be so happy.
What makes you say that?
Come on. I saw how you were staring at me in the hallway. You like me, and it's cool. So how about we ditch these books and make out?
How about I punch your face and fracture your nose?
My plan's better.
Sid slid to my side and our faces were inches apart.
Do you always smell like this?
Like what?
Like a mix of poop and garlic. Your breath stinks.
What the heck? I thought with time, Sid would find a new target. But a whole year went by and he only got more annoying in my locker and it chewed all my books. And another time, Sid pulled out a fake snake from his bag and threw it in my face in the middle of a chemistry class. I got spooked, tripped, and crashed into a table full of chemicals. We couldn't enter the lab for a whole week thanks to the smell of rotten eggs. But despite everything, I had one thing going on right. My secret matchmaking website. I was Mrs. Cupid, famous for giving advice to anonymous kids who are suffering in their love life. Dear Miss Cupid, I have a crush on this mega hot chick. But since she's the most popular girl in school, she never notices me. How do I get her to date me? Dear Agent Hot Abs, I'm sorry, but the only way you'll get a girl like that to date you is in your dreams. But try the Math Club, Drama Club, and Polar Bear Rides Club. You've got a lot of pretty girls in there. And a month later, Agent Hot Abs confirmed that he was dating a theater club girl. Another time, I got an email from the bimbo babe. Dear Miss Cupid, I want a boyfriend, but I don't want to sound too desperate. What should I do? Dear Bimbo. Babe, if you're writing this email, it means you're already desperate. And something about your name tells me you're not too smart either. Try searching the library for some hot geeks. This way you can find a date and maybe learn a thing or two. Win-win. Dating someone too. Another score for Miss Cupid. I'm making your dreams come true.
There you are!
I jumped in shock as Sid walked up from behind me and I shut my laptop.
What you hiding on that computer? Are you stalking me on Instagram? I knew it. You have a crush on me.
I don't! Now stop snooping around and leave!
Not so soon.
Sid snatched the laptop from my hand. I tried to get it back, but that sleazebag wouldn't let go. Finally, the laptop fell on the ground and the screen flew open.
No way! You're Mrs. Cupid! You give advice to corny teenagers. Oh my god, I'm dying. I think I might have coughed up a lung.
Shut up, you moron! And yeah, I am Mrs. Cupid, but if you tell anybody, I swear I will end you.
I won't tell anyone if you agree to set me up with someone. I know you're probably wondering why a hot guy like me would need your help, but I want to see how good you are.
I'd rather eat a bag of worms than help you. Suddenly, Sid ran out of the door and screamed into the school hallway.
Hey everybody, our grand school Mandy Mrs. Cupid is none other than...
I covered his mouth and yanked him back into the classroom. Why are you doing this? You haven't dated a single girl this whole year and now suddenly you want a girlfriend?
Maybe I'm bored and this could be a welcome change. Now, do we have a deal?
Ugh, I hate this, but fine. I'll find a date for you. And if you two hit it off, you have to promise to permanently get off my back.
Whatever you say, princess.
I know it was probably the worst idea to help Sid, but I also didn't want anyone to find out I was Miss Cupid. It was the one good thing in my life. I wasn't going to let all my hard work go down the drain. So I sat up all night trying to find the perfect match for Sid. And the next day, I arranged a few dates for Sid, but they all ended up in massive disasters.
Have you seen my new rubber chicken collection?
Your what?
Rubber chicken. You know, the one you squeeze and it makes a sound. Let me show you an example.
I'm a dorky chick.
Okay. Actually, I just remembered I have to take my cat for a manicure. See you around.
And we never saw her again. The next day, Sid met another girl at a burger joint and sneakily placed his dumb rubber chicken in her food. Just as she took a bite, the toy made a sound and she almost passed out. This happened a few more times before I finally lost my mind and cornered Sid. What's the matter with you? And what's with this stupid obsession with rubber chickens?
What? I really like them. And if I can't share my passion, what's even the point of having a girlfriend?
If you really want this to work, you've got to step up your date game. Carrying chicken toys to dates is not how you woo a girl.
Really? Then how do you woo a girl?
Sid came closer, staring into my eyes, and for a second I forgot how to breathe. But then he just pulled my laptop closer and stared at the screen.
Oh, this one sounds interesting. Dear Cupid Lovelock, I'm tired of dating the same guy over and over again. Find me someone different. Bored Anonymous.
Yeah, cool. Now sit back and let me work my magic. I texted Bored Anonymous that the boy she was looking for would meet her in the library with a red book in hand. And the next day, Sid sat at the desk with the book while I hid behind the wall waiting for Bored Anonymous to show up. I almost threw up when I saw Catherine walk in and she went straight to Sid. She was Bored Anonymous.
Mind if I take this seat?
I don't see why not.
Catherine pulled out a chair and I waited for Sid to do something stupid. But surprisingly, they got along really well. They were cracking up at Sid's jokes and Sid was blushing like a stupid girl. And weirdly enough, I started feeling kinda jealous watching them together. I was still lost in my thoughts when Sid walked over.
That went well.
You don't actually think you can date my sister, do you?
Why? Catherine is fun, cool, and pretty to look at. Why should I not date her?
Because you guys are totally different and she's known to crush boys and walk all over them.
That was before she met me. I'm gonna steal her heart and she won't know what hit her. In fact, she just asked me to be her date at this super cool party, and I think I'm going to go.
Guess what? I'll be there too, with my boyfriend.
You know you can't bring an imaginary person to a party, right?
He's not imaginary. He's a very real person, you'll see.
I can't wait!
Neither can I. And yeah, don't forget your rubber chickens. I walked away feeling kind of miserable. I had less than 5 hours to find myself a boyfriend. So I just asked one of the guys from the chemistry class to be my date, and he said yes. The party was nice and I was having a good time until Sid showed up with Catherine on his arm and sat right next to me and my date.
Oh, my sweet honey buns, I could stare into your eyes forever.
I can stare deeper.
I can stare into your soul and I can say you're an angel.
That doesn't even make any sense.
It's a metaphor.
It's stupid.
Are you two done? Because I want to dance. Sid, come on.
We'll join you.
But I don't know how to dance.
Just follow my lead. I dragged my date, but he kept missing steps. Banged into a bunch of people. At one point, he stomped on my feet so bad I had to sit down with an ice pack. I didn't see Sid and Catherine after that, and the next day they were officially dating. Sid was so lost in Catherine's love, he didn't pay any attention to me. No pranks, no rude comments, not even a glance, and it made me so mad. But I knew it was only a matter of days till Catherine would dump Sid. Despite our weird relationship, he was kinda the only friend I had, and I didn't want him to end up hating me after Catherine dumped him. So I tried talking to Catherine about it.
So you and Sid, huh? When are you dumping him?
Not this time. I actually like this guy, and I think I'm gonna stick around.
But he's so uncultured and weird. And I might warn you, he has an unhealthy obsession with rubber chicken toys. It's bizarre.
So he's a funny guy. And why are you so interested in Sid anyway? You never paid attention to the guys I've dated in the past.
I'm just looking out for you.
Yeah, right. Stop prying and mind your own business.
Catherine catwalked her way out of the room, and I kept thinking about what she said. Why was it bothering me so much that Sid was dating Catherine? Did I have feelings for him? Oh no. Yuck. I just shoved whatever stupid thoughts I had aside and decided to focus on my studies. But my concentration was all over the place. Then one day I was in the library breaking my head over some complicated math equation when someone pulled my notebook. Sid, give that back.
I will when you tell me. Why are you so mad at me?
Why would I be mad at you? Do I look mad at you? You and I are not friends. That I'll be mad enough to be mad at you. That'll be madness. And I'm not that mad. I grabbed my book and turned to leave, but Sid got in the way.
I'm not done talking. Did you tell Catherine that I'm uncultured and weird?
Maybe.
Why?
Because it's the truth. You are weird and creepy, and you don't care about anyone's feelings. Remember how you chased me around for a year saying the stupidest things? And now that you have a girlfriend, it's like I don't even exist.
I thought you wanted me to back off, and now you're bothered by it. What do you want, Lily?
Don't know. Okay, maybe I'm just mad at you for not even saying a thank you. If not for me, Catherine would never date a rubber chicken-loving brat like you.
Fine, thank you. Happy now? Anyway, I came here to ask your opinion on this necklace I got for Catherine for prom, but I guess it was a stupid mistake.
Glad to know that. There's something you can figure out on your own. Sid and I didn't talk after that. And I just spent most of my days locked up in my room, eating tubs of ice cream and watching Luna Avatar. Watching these stories made me realize how stupid I was to chase a guy who didn't even like me. So I decided to keep my self-respect and forget about Sid, even though it broke my heart. Then, a few days later, it was prom, and I decided not to go. I was casually sitting in my living room when I heard a car pull up in the driveway. I peeked outside the window and saw Catherine kissing some guy who looked nothing like Sid. What the heck was that?
It's called none of your business.
No, it's called cheating. You're dating Sid, remember? Your boyfriend? Ex-boyfriend, I've decided to dump him. So he doesn't actually know? Catherine, he genuinely likes you.
Well, they all do. I'm literally perfect. But you know me. I get bored so easily. And this Sid was a total freak. He keeps annoying me with those stupid rubber chicken toys, and all he ever did was joke and talk and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I can just drop him a text now.
Catherine pulled out her phone, but I just snatched it and threw it away. And then I pounced on her like a wild cat, while she struggled to push me away. Finally, my parents walked in and threw me off. I can't believe I thought you're capable of changing. I should have fought harder for Sid. I should have just asked him not to date you when I figured you were bored.
How did you... Miss Cupid? Oh my god, you liar! I should have known it was you. Only someone too lame to get a boyfriend would have so much time to find boyfriends for others.
You're calling me a liar? What about you, you cheating, backstabbing witch?
At least I have a life. All you have is this desperate attempt to save your sanity.
I will kick your butt like a bazooka. I charged at Catherine one more time, but before I could grab her, Dad screamed at us to stop. Then suddenly he fell to the ground unconscious. We immediately called 911 and took him to the hospital. Apparently, Dad had been under tremendous work stress that impacted his heart, and now he needed immediate surgery. But it was really expensive, and we didn't have that kind of money. Mom had some savings, but it wasn't enough. So Catherine asked her friends for help, but she was only met with more closed doors. We were running out of options when the nurse told us that someone had paid our bill in full. What? Who? The donor wants to keep his name anonymous. Sorry. With the bill being finally paid, Dad went into surgery, and thankfully it was successful. I was happy and I couldn't stop thinking about this anonymous donor. So I waited for everyone to sleep and then slowly made my way to the computer in the reception area. I typed in Dad's name and the bill had no name, but it did have a number. Sid's. Sid paid the bill. I can't believe this. He must really like you a lot.
I don't think he did this for me, dummy. I've seen the way he looks at you. He likes you. And I definitely know you like him.
Sorry about that.
Don't worry. Now go before it's too late. Yeah, don't ask Miss Cupid for help. She kind of sucks.
I smiled and rushed out of the hospital.
But it was too late at night and I couldn't find a cab. Disappointed, I was headed back to the hospital when I noticed a car in the parking lot and Sid sleeping inside it. I walked over and banged on the window.
What? What? I have a weapon! Lily?
Sid stepped out of the car, and I immediately hugged him. Thank you for saving my dad. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't stepped in. But what are you doing in the parking lot?
I stuck around in case you needed more help. Listen, Lily, there's something you should know. I like you. I was stupid to be playing games with you to begin with, but I thought you weren't interested in me. I started dating your sister to get some reaction out of you, and I did get a bit infatuated with her, but I started seeing her true color soon enough, before she even dumped me. I know I was crazy, and should have just told you I like you in the first place, but...
Hey, I like you too! Always have. But I needed you to date Catherine to finally see that.
Guess we both kinda messed up.
We can still make it, right?
I'd like that.
Sid leaned in, and I was sure he was going to kiss me this time. But instead, he handed me a rubber chicken. You really know how to woo a girl? Hi, my name is Serafina. Before we jump into today's story, please like and subscribe to Luna Avatar. My first memory of Mom is her voice singing lullabies to me every night. It was the most beautiful sound in the world. Mainly because the moment she stopped, I'd start screaming again. By the time I was 16 months old, I could hum every lullaby perfectly. My dad, a piano genius, taught me beautiful notes and how to put them together, and I was totally obsessed with it. On Dad's 30th birthday, there was a grand celebration at our mansion. Right after everyone started toasting, I climbed up on a table and began singing the birthday song. Suddenly, the whole room went silent, ready to take in my first performance.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
When I finished, I realized my voice could make a grown man cry.
Oh my god, that's exactly the voice of an angel.
I always had a feeling Serafina was gifted. I'm so proud of you, darling.
Right after that, my parents hired the best musicians in the city to coach me in vocals and music theory. At every party my parents and their friends hosted, they'd invite me to perform, and they even paid me for it. My life was perfect. Until one day, everything changed. When I was in the 2nd grade, my dad had just returned from meeting with some partners overseas. I froze when I saw a little girl with sad eyes, holding a stuffed bunny, step out of the car too. She was trying to hide behind Dad, but he gently pushed her forward.
This is Annabelle, Serafina. She's your sister, and she'll be living with our family now. Will you take care of her?
I looked into her scared, dark eyes and immediately took her hand. Always! But from the moment Annabelle showed up, a dark shadow, like the dress she wore, was cast over our happy home. It started with a huge fight between my parents that evening, and both of us overheard it.
You've broken my heart. She reminds me of my worst nightmare, and I have to see it every day. She can't stay here. I won't raise a child that isn't mine.
She has nowhere to go. Her mother's gone. I know you hate me right now, but please don't take it out on her. She's just a kid.
I didn't want Annabelle to hear this, so I said, "Come on, I'll play something for you. What's your favorite song?" I didn't fully understand what was happening, but one thing was clear. Mom hated Annabelle. She ignored her like there wasn't any child in the house besides me. But my dad and I were different. We adored her. Maybe it was because I could see the sadness and loneliness in my sister's eyes. And we more than made up for Mom's ice-cold attitude. But in the 8th grade, we got news one day that made our whole world come crashing down. Dad had been in a terrible car accident, and he was gone. We were all devastated, but Mom just shut herself up in her room for weeks. One night, while I was reading a Snow White story to Annabelle, Mom suddenly burst into the room and started yelling.
What are you doing in my daughter's room? You're just a poor maid.
Mom, are you okay? She's not a maid, this is Annabelle, remember?
Yes, Annabelle. How could I forget her? Everything got worse when she showed up. No, everything is exactly her fault.
I stared in horror at Mom as Annabelle started to cry.
Pack your things first thing in the morning, Annabelle. Are you planning to sleep with this filthy maid tonight?
What? No, she's not going anywhere. Dad said she's my sister.
Either she goes to the maids or the orphanage. This is her last night here.
As Mom was leaving, she suddenly pounced at Isabel, grabbed her stuffed bunny, and threw it in the fire.
No, my mom made that!
Annabelle cried for hours, and I hugged her to sleep. What had happened to my mom? The very next day, Annabelle had to move to the maids' quarters despite my strong protests. She was still allowed to go to school, but she had to do house chores in her free time. I was scared she'd be sent away, so I stopped fighting with Mom, but I'd sneak food to her and help her with her homework at night. At school, we could always hang out together. But one day, I started trembling when I saw my mom show up at school, heading straight to the principal's office. Oh my God! Maybe my worst fear was about to come true. Mom, what are you doing here?
Oh, I'm here to withdraw Annabelle from school, of course.
You can't do that! She has to go to school!
Why? She's never going to be anything but a maid like her stupid mother. Education is a complete waste on someone whose future is just sweeping floors and cleaning rooms.
As she turned around, I grabbed Mom's wrist. If you make her drop out of school, I will too, and I'll tell everyone why. Are you sure you want everyone to know how you really treat Annabelle? Mom, Dad would be so disappointed in you. Mom looked shocked, then angrily pulled her arm away and left I'd won this little battle. But God knows what she'd do next. Things weren't great at home, but at least I had Eric. He was my boyfriend for 2 years and was just crazy about my voice one evening when I was on a date with him. I suddenly started getting calls from Annabelle.
Come home right now, Serafina!
I ran home to a scene of complete chaos. Mom was tearing apart Annabelle's room. What's going on?
Your dad's watch is missing, and I'm going to search all the maids' rooms, and when I find it, I'm kicking out the thief for good.
Just then, a servant came from another room saying it was under Mom's personal maid's bed. Mom looked completely shocked to find out it was her, but she threw her bags out instantly. Some days later, it was Annabelle's 13th birthday, and I snuck into her room with a cake when she blew the candles out. I asked her what she'd wished for.
I wished your mom was dead.
Annabelle, you don't mean that? She's my mom. Annabelle stayed silent, and I got up to leave. I'd never seen that look of hatred on my little sister's face before. In the middle of all this drama, I had a huge audition coming up. A prestigious music academy was looking for talent from different schools, and being selected would be a dream. But 5 days before the audition, I woke up with my throat hurting. I called out to the maid, but to my horror, my voice was gone. Mom rushed me to the doctor who diagnosed me with laryngitis. What he said next left me shocked.
Your voice will return to normal soon, but this is the end of your singing. If you strain your vocal cords too much, you could lose your voice permanently.
I just couldn't believe it. On the day of the auditions, I slipped into the auditorium with Eric, feeling devastated. I wanted to be up on that stage more than anything. And then one of the judges said,
"The last performer is Miss Annabelle."
Wait, what? Annabelle stepped onto the stage and started singing.
Don't know what you wanna achieve, but make a
I was stunned. Her voice was beautiful. The judges gave her a standing ovation and said they'd be in touch with her. Soon as everyone started to leave, I caught up with her. Annabelle, that was amazing. But why didn't you tell me you could ever sing like that? She brushed my arm off angrily, her eyes blazing.
You never asked. You just assumed that you're the only one with any talent. But I guess that's something we both got from our father. It makes you unhappy, doesn't it?
Why would you say that? I've always had your back, Annabelle.
Yet I've been living as a maid in my dad's house for years, and you did nothing. You think sneaking me food makes up for how I'm treated? No, it doesn't. All it does is make you feel good about yourself.
Annabelle, I tried.
Oh, nice try. I hate you, Serafina.
As she stormed off, I felt heartbroken. As Eric walked me back home that evening, suddenly, a skateboarder came charging straight at him. I pushed Eric out of the way just in time, but he landed on the pavement, hitting his head. I quickly called an ambulance, and after hours of waiting at the hospital, we were shocked to get the news Eric was in a coma. The doctors were hopeful he'd wake up soon. But weeks turned into months, and before I knew it, a year had passed. I was almost done with high school, and Annabelle was in her music academy on full scholarship, but we never spoke anymore. One day when I went to see Eric, I was shocked to see him sitting up in bed.
Oh my God, you're awake!
He gently pushed me away.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Eric, it's me, Serafina, your girlfriend!
Can you sing?
Yes, well I used to, but then I got sick and had to stop, remember?
No! I just know that my girlfriend sings beautifully. I couldn't move or see all these months, but she'd talk and sing to me often, and I could hear her. I know her voice, and it's not you.
Suddenly my blood ran cold when I heard someone behind me.
Babe, that was me. You could hear me?
Annabelle?
Yes, it's you!
She ran forward and hugged him, and then they kissed. Suddenly I just lost it. I pulled Annabelle by her hair. Are you completely crazy? You've been visiting my boyfriend and singing to him. Tell him you're lying.
I am not. He's mine. Let me go, witch.
and suddenly she pushed me viciously and I went flying into a trolley. I attacked her and we went crashing straight into the machines. And the next thing we knew, we were both thrown out of the hospital. I turned furiously to Annabelle. We're done for good. You become a hateful monster. I don't even know who you are anymore. But you're definitely not my sister. Finally! And with that, she left. I went on a very long walk to clear my head. And by the time I got home, Annabelle was gone. The next morning, Mom discovered a lot of things were gone too, including Dad's watch.
Heck, I'm going to report her to the police. I'm going to.
Mom, just stop it. She's gone. That's what you wanted since you first saw her, right? And so what if she took Dad's stuff? It's hers too. Let it freaking go. A year later, I went off to university to study music. If I couldn't sing anymore, I could still play in my final year. I was leaving the campus one day when I stepped on a newspaper. It had Eric and Annabelle's face on the front page with the headline "Billionaire to tie knot in 2 weeks." Well, good for them. But just a few days later, I walked into a coffee shop. And to my shock, I saw Eric there. And he was kissing a blonde girl. That definitely wasn't Annabelle. I just walked away. It wasn't my problem. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. And when her wedding day arrived, I just could not do anything. Even if she hated me. She was my freaking little sister. And that's how I found myself bursting into the church and running like crazy down the aisle. Hold it! This wedding can't happen! As Annabelle turned to look at me in horror, I ran straight at her and hugged her. I held onto her tight as she squirmed and shrieked.
Oh my god, you psycho! Get off me!
I love you, Annabelle! I'm not going anywhere till you listen to me! As Eric looked super mad and everyone stared at us, she dragged me off to a small room.
What do you think you're doing, Serafina?
Annabelle, you can't marry Eric. He's a cheater. I saw him kissing a girl the other day. I swear I'm not lying.
Think I don't know about that? Well, I do, and it doesn't matter. I stole your man, and hell take care of me. At least I got rid of you and your psycho mom, so just buzz off.
Annabelle, listen to me. You're just angry right now. I'm so sorry about everything. Mom was unbelievably cruel to you, and I should have fought harder. You deserved so much better, and you still do. Don't marry this jerk, please.
Why do you care?
Because you're my little sister, and I miss you so much. I had 2 things that I loved the most. My voice and you. I lost my voice for good, and I don't want to lose you too. Please forgive me and come with me.
Oh, Serafina, I'm so sorry for all the horrible things I did to you. I thought I wanted to marry Eric too, tease you, but I now realize that everything I've been doing in my life was to not end up alone. I just wanted to belong to someone.
You belong to me. You're my family. I made a promise to Dad to take care of you, and I will always. And with that, we hugged each other and walked back to our home. Family always comes first.
Hi, I'm Skylar from Chicago. Please like and subscribe. I think I decided when I was born that I liked my mom way more than my dad. That's probably because she's always saving me from my dad's crazy antics. Mom owned a pet shop in the neighborhood that had been in our family for generations. It was like the ultimate hangout for me and my besties when I was a little kid. Oh, and I've got a twin sister, Ellie, who's super close to Dad, no clue why. If there were an award for the messiest, most irresponsible guy ever, he'd surely win. And I'm totally grossed out by Dad's mess. Daddy, why did you throw your muddy boots on the sofa again?
Are you saying something, honey? I can't hear you.
Maybe you would if you stopped playing the video game.
Shut up, you're so annoying. Can't you let us have some fun, you parrot?
I threw the boot at Ellie when she said that. But I couldn't do the same to Dad because he was my dad. He works part-time as a delivery guy for a pizza place nearby. And when he's not doing that, he does nothing but play video games. And make a mess. But once when I was in 1st grade, he really went too far. He took Ellie and me to the playground. While we were playing on the slide, he went off to play football with some boys. Ellie and I didn't realize how much time had passed until it got dark. We got worried looking for our beloved dad, but we couldn't find him anywhere.
Skylar, Dad ditched us. I don't know the way back home.
I don't either, but it's okay. We have each other. We'll be fine. Then, I suddenly remembered the playground was near Mom's pet shop, and I took Ellie's hand and made my way there. Luckily, we got there just as Mom was closing up the shop to head home. She took us back fuming, and we found Dad on the couch in his muddy, stinky clothes playing games with a VR headset on.
Oh, I thought it was the sound of a monster showing up. Hurry up, ladies. Don't let the big man starve. It's dinner time.
He didn't even realize he'd left us at the playground. A huge fight broke out between them. It was the biggest one ever. And just like the saying goes, no man can ever win an argument with a woman. Not even the messiest man alive. So the next day, Dad packed up his bags and left, saying he was moving in with his mom and, well, he never visited or came back. Ellie was super upset, but I was secretly relieved, and Mom seemed happier too. Good riddance. Men were the worst. Growing up, I even avoided talking to boys my age. I was totally convinced they were all just as messy and careless as Dad. Like once in 5th grade, the teacher made a boy sit next to me for a history class activity, and he was a total chatterbox. Worse, he messed up the order of all my markers.
Dude, why didn't we just keep moving on all fours?
Ma'am, where can I find a no-boys class?
It's not possible, Skylar. You'll have to learn to get along with everybody, yes, even the boys.
The boy grinned at me and I grabbed a marker and crippled all over his face. The teacher called my mom and I got a bunch of lectures. But nothing could change my mind. Boys were icky and I hated them. Soon after, I discovered something I was really into, acting. I joined the drama club, and there I found myself fighting for the lead roles every year with a girl named Lily. I mostly beat her to them, and obviously she hated me. By the time we were in high school, all the boys knew I had sent a few chatterbox boys to the hospital, so they started to be scared of me.
Lily wouldn't stop annoying me about it.
Who are you going to go to prom with? Your cat. Do you stay away from the boys because you know you're ugly and no one will like you?
Once, I walked into the girls' bathroom at the club while she was washing up and she shrieked.
Oh my god, are you trying to get a peek at me? I know you're into girls, but don't even think about me.
Yikes! No, even if I was into girls, I have good taste, Lily. But she spread rumors around the school that I had been staring at her body and that I might be hiding somewhere in the girls' locker room or bathroom.
Why don't you go and prove her wrong? Go on, just talk to a boy.
I'd rather sprinkle cat litter on broccoli and eat that.
Yuck, you're a savage and so weird.
Yeah, Ellie was nothing like me. She was really popular with the guys, and she was always dating one. And I was always afraid she'd end up choosing someone exactly like Dad. Once she was getting ready to go out with a boy I knew was a jerk. But she wouldn't listen to me, so I had to do something myself that evening. I opened the door when he knocked. So you're Mark? No, wait. She said he's hot. Are you Shane?
No, no, no.
He comes on a motorbike every time. You must be the rich donkey she was talking about?
What? She said that. And who are all these guys?
Who knows? Maybe it's those other donkeys. Maybe you should ask Peter. He and Ellie have been pretty tight lately. He got pissed and left, and when Ellie found out, she was furious.
Now you're spoiling my chances too. Okay, what's up with you and boys? Don't you find them cute and fun?
I find them useless and annoying, and I don't know why you're dying to be with one. You're too young anyway. Just stay away from them. But she'd never do that. One evening, I realized that I'd left some important notes in my locker, and I had to go back to school to get them. Just then, I heard a beautiful voice from the boys' locker room. I took a peek through the door and saw someone singing along with his guitar. It was Parker, the quiet millionaire who joined school a week ago and had all the girls drooling. I stood there quietly and continued to listen until he stopped and looked right at me.
So do you like it?
Oh God, he saw me. It didn't make my ears bleed, so I guess it was all right.
You're the famous man-hater, aren't you? I'm flattered to have you as a fan, but I'll have to give you my autograph another time. I don't have a pen right now.
Oh, that's too bad. I want to cry, but I left my hanky at home.
I'd offer you mine, but it's full of boogers. Anyway, what are you doing here so late?
I got bored and decided to find my Prince Charming here at school, and you?
Same reason. I was waiting for someone as pretty as you to secretly listen to me as I sing.
So is this the part where we fall in love and start dating?
No! I think we should get married right away and have kids!
Suddenly I noticed his boots. They were covered with mud. You know, there's a reason I stay away from boys, and I'm certain you're no different. With that, I walked away. This Parker seemed really full of himself. And to my dismay, I found out a few days later that he was being paired with me as the lead in the school play. But he seemed more disappointed than me.
Ma'am, can't we choose someone else to play the heroine's part?
What's your problem? Why are you trying to get me out of the play?
Because I don't want to play the part with a girl who's allergic to boys. We'll have no chemistry.
I don't have to like you to be good at acting. I can fake chemistry.
There's a kissing scene. You sure you're up for it?
Yeah, I'm a professional and we don't need to practice it. We can just do it on the day of the play.
Fine by me. I'm an expert anyway.
We started rehearsing soon with Lily as my understudy, but her main role seemed to be flirting with Parker. And he was just as annoying as any boy I'd ever met. He was late for rehearsals, he was always eating on set and making a mess, and he had to take 100 breaks. But I had to admit he was a good actor and was perfect for the part. A few days later, we were doing a dress rehearsal, and soon after wearing my costume, my back really started to itch. I somehow made it through my part and then rushed to the dressing room. I looked at my back in the mirror at the huge, ugly burn mark I've had since I've been in an accident when I was 8 years old. The costume's material had really irritated my scar, and it was all red and itchy. I took a picture in the mirror to send to my skin doctor and then quickly changed into my clothes. But as I picked up my phone again, I realized that I'd sent the picture to freaking Parker. Oh my god! Feeling panicked, I texted him that I sent the picture by mistake, but he never replied. I just slipped out and headed home, feeling really worried. I was certain that jerk would show it to everyone, especially Lily. But the next day when I went to school, no one was looking at me weirdly or talking about me. No one brought it up at all. Later, I spotted Parker by himself in the hallway and I walked over to him. Hey, listen, thank you for not sharing that picture with anyone. I know I'm an ugly freak.
What picture?
The one I sent you yesterday.
I'm pretty sure you didn't see our chat. No picture here.
He looked up at me and smiled, and I found myself smiling back.
Wow, that's the first time I've seen you smiling. I don't think you should do that. It's not a great look on you.
I just rolled my eyes and walked away. Okay, he wasn't a jerk, but he was still annoying. But it was nice of him to pretend he didn't receive the picture to not embarrass me. When the day of the play finally came, I was super excited. Our performances were going really smoothly. Well, until the kissing scene.
What are you doing? You're supposed to kiss me now?
Yeah, I know that. I'm just getting ready.
It's just a kiss. Kiss me, Skylar.
Fine. I put my hands on his face and my heart was racing as our lips touched. I felt something I'd never felt before, and I was kind of disappointed when he pulled away and started saying his next dialogue. Back at home, Ellie couldn't stop teasing me about the kiss and our chemistry on stage, which I completely denied and slammed the door in her face. But I couldn't stop thinking about the kiss all night. Was I catching feelings for Parker? But the next morning, I forgot all about it when I went down for breakfast and found Mom crying. Mom, what's wrong? What happened?
I'm going to lose the pet house.
It turned out that Mom had taken a big loan a while back from an investment company to keep the pet shop running. But lately, she hadn't been able to make the payments on time. And now the company was demanding that she pay it immediately. And the investment company belonged to Lily's dad.
I'll have to sell the pet house. It's not been doing well for a while, and I'm just not making enough.
But Mom, you love it. Everyone in the neighborhood loves it. It's been around for 30 years. There has to be a way we can save it.
I don't think there is, honey.
I felt really heavy-hearted when I went to school that day. I was sitting alone on the bleachers at recess when suddenly Parker joined me.
What's up with your face today?
And to my horror, I started to cry. I buried my face in my arms as I sobbed, and I felt Parker putting his arm around me.
Hey, what's going on? Do you want to talk about it?
And I found myself telling him everything. When I was done, he handed me his hanky and looked at me.
I might have a solution for your problem.
What? What do you mean?
I guess you don't know that Lily's dad and my dad are business partners. They both own that investment company. I'll talk to my dad today and ask him to make the loan payments easier for you guys. I don't want you to lose that pet shop. It seems like it means a lot to you.
Do you really mean that? Will your dad agree?
He will, I promise.
I was so thrilled that I threw my arms around him in a bear hug. He hugged me too, and we just stayed like that for a while. Parker, did you just smell my hair?
What? No, I didn't.
Why are you helping me?
Because I'm not a jerk.
Is that all?
Yeah, don't worry. I wouldn't fall for someone who's decided to hate boys for all eternity.
Well, maybe I don't hate you. Parker's face suddenly lit up, and he drew me close and kissed me, and it felt amazing. True to his word, Parker talked to his dad, and Mom was ecstatic when the company told her they changed their decision. And Parker and I, well, much to everyone's surprise and Lily's anger, we started dating. I couldn't believe I had a boyfriend. Prom came around a few months later, and when Ellie and I reached school, I spotted Parker from afar looking so cute. I walked up to him and was about to kiss him when he suddenly stopped me.
Hey, Skylar, wait, there's something I need to talk to you about.
Okay, why the serious face? He led me out of the hall and then he spoke.
Listen, I hate that I'm ruining prom for you, but I just have to tell you now our company is facing some losses and Lily's dad is insisting that we collect all outstanding loans, so I'm afraid your mom will have to make the full payment very soon. I am so sorry.
I felt the ground slip beneath my feet. Are you kidding me? You promised and now you're just breaking it just like that.
It's not my decision, Skylar. I don't own the company.
Then maybe it wasn't your promise to make either. Did you just do it to get together with me? To win me over, and you never really meant it?
What are you talking about? Of course, I meant it. I tried to help you. Can't you at least see that?
No, all I can see is that you gave us false hope. I would have been better if you hadn't. Why is everyone so disappointing?
Well, maybe your standards are too freaking high.
Well, maybe I'm just better off alone. I stormed out of there in angry tears. I'd made a mistake believing a stupid boy, and even a bigger mistake of falling for him. High school had come to an end, and Ellie and I helped Mom pack up the shop over the summer. It broke our hearts to lose it, but there was nothing we could do. One day, as Ellie and I were going back home, we walked past a cafe where I spotted several kids from school, including Parker and Lily, and she was clinging onto his arm. Ellie saw my face and said,
You don't know they're together, Skylar.
I'm pretty be sure that they are, and I really don't care. I went off to university to study drama and theater, and I was having an amazing time. I made loads of cool friends, yes, even guys, and I realized I've been foolishly stubborn to think they were all bad. Sometimes I even regret it being so hard on Parker and driving him away. He was just a high school kid like me back then, and it wasn't his fault that we lost our pet shop. Soon after graduation, I went back home to attend Ellie's wedding. Her husband seemed a lot more sensible than Dad, and she seemed really happy, and I was happy for them. Later that night, someone rang the doorbell, and I was shocked when I opened the door.
Hello, Skylar.
Standing outside was Parker. Hi, what are you doing here?
I've been in touch with Ellie. She said you were coming back for her wedding. I really wanted to talk to you.
I stepped out onto the porch, and he said something completely unexpected.
You know, I never forgot about that burn scar on your back.
My scar? That's what you want to talk about?
Yeah, I've never stopped thinking about how you saw yourself with it, or how painful it must be for you. I found an amazing skin surgeon, and he can fix it, Skylar. And if you agree to go for it, I'd like to pay for the surgery.
But why are you doing this?
I swear I'm only doing it as a friend. I know I let you down all those years ago, and now that I can make some decisions on my own, I want to do this.
I stopped being mad at you a long time ago, Parker. You don't have to do this.
I want to. Please don't say no.
After a lot of thinking, I agreed. I underwent the surgery a week later, and when I woke up, Parker was by my side, smiling.
The doctor said it went great.
I can't thank you enough, Parker. I really owe you.
No, you don't. Well, I'll accept a cup of coffee.
It's a date?
Is it?
Maybe. I sat up in bed and pulled Parker towards me in a hug.